Hi Glamazons, welcome back to my channel. It's me Kagam. Okay, I'm really excited about today's video. In my previous video, I did a Hermes luxury shopping reaction video where I reacted to reviews from the Hermes Sloane Street store based on Google Map reviews. So I had a really good reaction from you guys that you enjoyed that video. So I'm gonna make another one. If you keep liking them, I'll make a few of them. I'll react to 3 or 4 reviews in this video and then we'll talk about each one. I would love to know what you guys think. And yeah, let's get into it. I make 3 videos a week. They're always about shopping all of the time. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays, I upload at 11 o'clock, Dar es Salaam, East African time, 9 a.m. London time. Let's get it. Okay, guys, this review, by the way, let me just preface this and say I am in no way laughing at people who have serious complaints about Chanel New Bond Street. There's some reviews that are kind of serious. I'm just going to react to the ones that I find the most I just can't believe that Chanel are treating people like this. And then we're going to talk about each one. Okay, so the first one is a lady here who basically, it's a really long review. Long story short, she was asking the sales associate for a boy bag. She was kind of following up a lot and stuff, and she wanted to buy. And then she felt like the bag she was offered had a flaw in it. And then basically she comes back to the boutique, and then to which she says, and quote, she says, "I knew I had to go back to her, but I didn't want to because of her attitude. But I wanted the felt cover for the bag, blah, blah, blah. I went in and asked for Alina and explained that one of the bags was missing a felt cover. I couldn't believe when she said I was nice enough to include one felt cover for the first bag, and they aren't even supposed to come with one." Okay, so obviously this sales associate really got this client angry. I think the problem is we don't know obviously the kind of exactly what happened in this particular situation, but I think the problem is sometimes you can miscommunicate, particularly in a store, and I think sometimes people are just treated badly and there's nothing that you can do about that if you are treated badly. So the question here is, do you make a complaint, do you try and solve it, or do you just try and sort it out? I would try my best to sort it out, but if I can't get through to you and you're working in the store, then yeah, it's going to be difficult. Okay, let's get to the next one. Okay, now this review of Chanel New Bond Street is juicy for all of the wrong reasons, okay? So basically, this customer is another really long review, but they go into the New Bond Street boutique, and they say that they're being ignored, and they're 2 male sales associates who are fighting amongst themselves. And she said, therefore goes on to say, quote, "When one of them graciously decided to help us, he simply remained unhappy during the process. I took advantage of his moment of vulnerability and asked him, why so careless? His answer was even more shocking. They prefer to concentrate on local and repeat clients than tourists walking in and asking a million questions. While I see his point, this is also proof of how jaded some of the employees at luxury stores have become. The treatment was appalling." Okay, I think that this person has every right to be upset if they were ignored at the boutique. And I think what's so juicy about this particular review was the fact that they ended up earwigging 2 Chanel store staff fighting. And basically, in the other part of the review, she goes on to say the 2 male employees were arguing about how understaffed they felt and it was a management problem. So that's interesting. If people feel like the boutique is understaffed and sales staff feel like they're under so much pressure and there's so few of them, that's going to make it really difficult obviously to deliver high-class service. And then furthermore, the fact that they just want to focus on local and repeat clients, that really just puts even more emphasis on the fact that right now, Chanel doesn't really care about tourists, at least in terms of this specific boutique. This is not the first review I've seen where that comment has come up. And Chanel is not really interested in following around tourists. The bit of tourists asking millions of questions and asking tons of questions. Obviously, people are going to ask questions. They have questions about the bags and things like that. Now, I have it on good authority from an insider source, Chanel, can't say who this person is, but I know they're watching this video, that Chanel really does prize people who wear the pret-a-porter and people who buy the pret-a-porter, so the ready-to-wear clothing, not just the handbags, costume jewelry, and accessories. So if you go into the boutique and you want to buy a pret-a-porter, Chanel is going to probably give you more attention. So you guys probably seen on Instagram, there are tons of those like Chanel jumpsuits and those like body hugging Chanel dresses. Probably things like that, you know, will get you a little bit more attention. Of course, the classic Chanel skirt suit and the Chanel suits themselves also sell well. But I feel like, again, this whole idea that you have to spend thousands of pounds or thousands of dollars like to get attention, I think is just a ridiculous concept as well. And I know in my previous video, I did say like, don't go and window shop excessively. I feel like I should clarify that. Of course, it's your right to window shop, but I do see the whole point of like, asking a million questions and constantly asking questions. Like, they are going to blank those types of clients who are just, yeah, maybe tourists have flown in from another part, but aren't really going to buy today, or maybe are kind of exhausting to deal with. And that sounds unfair, but I do understand how these businesses work at the same time. So I think the question here is, when will Chanel decide to treat people well? And when will Chanel also not understaff their stores? I mean, if two people there are fighting about being exhausted, that's actually a serious HR employment issue. You shouldn't feel tired. You shouldn't be understaffed at work, and people shouldn't be exhausted working. I don't think that's fair. I mean, I know they're not paid minimum wage, but still, I think that's a very fair review. And I think that's something that obviously Chanel seriously need to think about. The next one is actually kind of a somber review, so it's not one that you're going to see me laughing at. There's a person here who says the following concerning the Chanel New Bond Street boutique. We were followed by a security guard who eventually informed us that we were not allowed to touch any items on display. This felt like an arbitrary, I beg your pardon, this felt like an arbitrary policy enforced by a prejudiced security guard. We left feeling embarrassed and upset. I mean, that is not cool. This person is a person of color. I can see from their profile photo. That is not cool at all. And if that is true, which I'm sure it is, why would someone lie on a like review site with their actual name on it? That is bang out of order, and Chanel needs to sort that out. So those are my 3 reactions. I feel like the Chanel New Bond Street boutique is very mixed. The reactions to a lot of like the way people are reviewing the boutique, it's a very mixed bag. There's some people who are treated really well. There are other people who are treated really badly. There are other people, a lot of people have posted photographs of their shopping bags with champagne. So maybe that's good. The fact that they're given champagne and offered it, that's also positive. But you know, if someone is like followed around and not allowed to touch anything, I mean, I think that's excessive. You know, that review is written before the coronavirus. I mean, like before the coronavirus, you're telling me that I'm not allowed to like touch a Chanel boy bag because it's a display bag. That's the whole point. It's a display bag. Why can't I be able to touch it? I don't like things like that. And things like that to me seem a bit heavy handed. And it's interesting because Chanel is a very secretive brand. I mean, I don't know how many of you like the business side of this whole luxury thing, but I really enjoy the business side. And I believe the 2 people who are the controlling shareholders are like cousins or brothers, and their children are now involved in like the management of the Chanel business itself. I mean, it's obviously $1 billion business. It's very successful, but at the same time, I think that the whole kind of secretive nature of Chanel, the fact that you can't even purchase the handbags online, it kind of lends itself then to this kind of like snobbery and this elitism that maybe filters through some of the boutiques. Obviously not all of them. There are some good reviews for the Bond Street boutique, but I think obviously they need to work on that and think of like how they are going to be treating people. I totally understand, as I said in the previous video about Hermes, which I'll link below, that they are time wasters who are annoying, and I completely understand that, but I don't think that's cool. Like following someone around and not letting them touch a display bag, like, come on guys, that is not it. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to my channel, turn on notifications. I do 3 videos a week, as I said. They're always about shopping all of the time, and I hope you like this video.